What a joy it is to be with the Pentecostal Church of God and talk to you for a few moments about different strategies on sharing our faith. I'm reminded of what Dr. Ricebrook said. He gave an acronym called SALT. And in that acronym, the S stands for start a conversation. A lot of times we focus on what we're going to say, how we're going to say it, making sure we get a gospel presentation in, and we put all kind of stress on ourselves, preacher and laity alike. But I want to tell you one of the most important things you can do in sharing your faith. Get ready for this. Start a conversation. You can never tell anybody about the cross, the resurrection, the return of Christ unless you start a conversation. So I want to take the pressure off of you. I want you to feel relaxed. And the next time you're in Walmart, Starbucks, on an airplane, in a commute to work, at the grocery store, look for ways to start a conversation on the cereal aisle, at the bus stop. It could be that you notice someone's shirt, you like it, a sports team. You could start a conversation concerning someone's children. So what you want to do is just observe your surroundings, observe the people that's around you, and find a way to simply start a conversation. I want to say this. You don't have to think, when I start that conversation, the next thing I need to do is bring the Romans Road out. No, just practice starting a conversation. You know, the Bible says that some plant, others water, God brings the increase. So in order to plant a seed, you've got to start a conversation. So I want to encourage you to do that. Secondly, ask a powerful question. SALT. S, start a conversation. A, ask a question. You may say to an individual, how long have you lived here? Did you go to a certain high school? What do you do for work? How many children do you have? How long have you been married? All kind of things that you can say, make it your own. I like to talk about sports. I like to ask, how long have you been here today? To start a conversation with an individual, I ask them, so how long have you been here? Just to begin to build an inroad to open an individual to begin to dialogue. So I ask a question, because whenever you get someone else talking to you, that's half the battle. Because when they begin to talk, you've got more information to ask another question, to begin to dialogue. The more they speak, the easier it is for you to continue to wade into that conversation. Number 3 is very important. SALT, S-A-L. Listen to this. L stands for listen. I want to encourage you, while you're asking someone a question and they're speaking, don't think about what you're going to say next. Don't begin to even formulate an apologetic or a rebuttal, because people can tell when you're in conversation with them if you're listening. Let your face show it. Be warm in your eyes. Be warm from the way that you lean in. Here's a simple one. Nod while people are talking. That engages the individual that you're dialoguing with. They want to. Let me just say this. How many of you have ever been in a conversation and you're in mid-sentence and you can tell somebody's already thinking about what they want to say, and before you're even finished, they interrupt you? I don't know about you, but I don't like to be interrupted. And people don't like to be interrupted, especially when they're talking. Some conversations that I've had with individuals just throughout my life is when they listen to me after they've asked me a question and genuinely engage me and listen. It warms my heart to that individual. So you want to start a conversation, you want to ask a powerful question, you want to listen, and then you want to tell your story, your testimony. I was delivered from drugs, alcohol. Maybe you weren't living a totally sinful lifestyle. Maybe you got saved when you were 5. Maybe God delivered you from cancer or a disease. Maybe God has done a miracle in your life, in your family. Maybe you were in a severe wreck and you know that an angel was protecting you. Tell your story of how God intervened in your life as it's appropriate. And that can lead into your salvation story. That can lead into the gospel of Jesus Christ. So nobody can argue with the story either. It's not like you open the Bible and say, well, since I've listened to you, the Bible says, no, that's not what we're doing. We're just engaging in a conversational way, non-confrontational, and we're sharing a personal story, a testimony of what God's done in our life. And there's no argument for that. And that often leads us to a time to where we can begin to share the gospel, which we'll talk about in our next segment. But it also opens the door for us to pray for individuals. So I want to encourage you today. Remember this, SALT. Start a conversation, because without a conversation that started, you can't get to the gospel or your story. Ask a question, listen, and then tell your story. I want to tell you, if you begin to practice that simple method, you'll see God move through your life. I want to encourage you to do it. God bless you.